Who likes horror movies? Not everyone enjoys horror movies. In fact, there are many who stay away from the genre as much as possible. Psychology has provided some insight into the individual differences that make someone more likely to enjoy horror films. People who seek sensations. Numerous studies have demonstrated that those high in the trait of sensation-seeking tend to enjoy horror. Sensation-seeking is the tendency to look for novel, risky, or intense experiences. People high in this trait tend to experience positive emotions when they have intensely stimulating experiences, even if those experiences are negative. High sensation seekers are wired to enjoy the stimulating experience of horror films in a way people low in this trait are not. People with lower empathy levels. Research indicates that people lower in the trait of empathy tend to enjoy horror movies because they are less impacted by the suffering depicted on screen. Not everyone agrees with this, however. Some researchers contend that our empathy toward a real person is not necessarily the same as the empathy we feel for a fictional character. The problem is that this is difficult to determine in studies, making it hard to know if and when true empathy occurs. People belonging to the male sex. More than any other individual difference, sex is most predictive of enjoyment of horror films, with males tending to enjoy scary and violent movies far more than females. This difference can be at least partially explained by the fact that females tend to experience greater fear and anxiety than males. In addition, females tend to be higher than males in the trait of disgust sensitivity. This could lead them to dislike horror movies that depict blood and gore. Horror movies as therapy. There's a growing body of research that suggests horror movies could be used in clinical settings to help people with anxiety or trauma. For instance, one study found that people who watched horror movies were less psychologically distressed by the COVID-19 pandemic, and those who were fans of the apocalyptic subgenre of horror felt more prepared for additional waves of the pandemic. This suggests that people who consume horror develop the ability to cope with stressful and anxiety-provoking situations. If this is the case, watching horror movies and other media could be used by mental health professionals to help people with anxiety develop emotional and behavioral strategies to cope with their fears, which could ultimately make them more resilient in general. While people who don't enjoy horror may not find this beneficial, for those who like the genre, watching horror movies could be akin to exposure therapy. More research needs to be conducted to determine if this approach is effective and, if so, in what instances.